lately I've been feeling like the greatest. I'm the one they bet against to make it. They must not know I love trips to Vegas. The underdog became the underrated. In my city, I'm paraded. Confetti dropping when I'm home. I'm floating down Tudor, floating on strong. Had so many rights they couldn't tell us we was wrong. Lamar Middle School, we was on. I got this line hard in my chest. I'm one of the best. They ask about him, they gon' bring up success. See, I've been fighting this stress. You ain't right, you get left. I'm good with my left, so I don't argue with refs. Cause just like EA, I'm in the game.
Hey everyone, it's Rob here with We Give 110, and we're going to be talking with our expert, of course, the wonderful Misa, about all the bookkeeping, everything that you can do with your business, and all those wonderful little things that are on the side. And today we're going to be talking about celebrating your wins, and this is that I think is very, very important, and it's one of the big things with We Give 110 as well. Is when we go and return and report, we want to tell people at the end of our day or at the end of our week as well, is like, what were our wins for that week, and so I'm going to turn it over to Misa here. So it's nice having you again, Misa. It's great to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. So why don't we start off talking about your first topic there that you said. Let's see if I can find it here again. I've got too many things popping up here. So the first one was why it's important to celebrate your wins, right? Oh, there's Carrie. All right.
Yes. I think this is one of those like overlooked things that many people they don't think about, or they kind of just push to the side because it's like, well, why do I need to celebrate, I don't know, getting my first client or earning my first dollar, why is that, important? Because I'm like, it's not very significant. That's usually what people think. But I'm like, it's a step. It's a step.
It's so huge. Yeah, it can be huge.
Exactly. Because I'm like, when you take that first step, you're making progress. And that means if you're making progress, you're getting closer to whatever your destination is. And I think a lot of people, it's just like they see the destination. It's like, well, I want to get over there, and that's when I'm going to celebrate. Once I get over there to the end, or whatever the end goal is, or whatever their, big dream or whatever it is, they're like, that's when I'm going to celebrate. But it's like there's so many different steps along the way that get you to that destination that if you just kind of stop and reflect on just every little step that you've actually taken and that you've completed, it just helps you it helps you kind of keep moving, because when you're so stuck in the weeds of things, like you're trying to run a business, you're trying to grow it, then on top of that, you're just trying to live and stay, keep your head above water, but then it's like, it's a lot. And it's am I, because usually you don't see the progress, you don't see it right away, because no, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a long time down the line, but it's like, what happened today? Because I'm like, did you finish, you finished laying out your marketing plan or something? I'm like, that's a huge step. You know what I mean? Like that's a huge step, because it's like, you've checked something off the box, you check one of those boxes, and now it's like, now you know what to do next. And you're not where you were yesterday.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things about that is even the smallest wins, especially at the beginning, is what's going to keep you motivated.
Exactly.
Right. And you're going to have ups and downs. And that's the thing. Like, if you can keep track of small things, like the number of customers you've had, like the amount of profit that you've made, and then celebrating those little milestones, and then going on with those. Now I have some other things that I'll talk about a little bit later about this, and how it ties into some of the other business aspects, and you'll be able to give it some input on that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's so important. All those little things mean so much. Your first customer, you're going to be like, wow, I got a customer, and then when that customer pays, you're like, yeah.
Exactly.
But then people go, Then they go, oh, it was my second customer.
Yeah.
No, like you want to be on that as well. Like, wow, this is my second customer. Every one of those steps is a win for you. And sure, maybe when you hit 10 or 15 or 20 down the line, you start losing it. But celebrating those points,
yes,
and then some of the stuff we'll be talking about in a little bit, you just can't miss those milestones.
No.
And for entrepreneurs, it's so important. It's that lifeblood
Yes.
that keeps you going, you know?
Exactly.
And it's funny because, I mean, I've gone through businesses a couple of times, and I mean, one of my first businesses that made some good money was actually a printing shop. And we were talking about like tenths of a cent profit. You know, like somebody comes in and they're like, okay, I want to make 5 photocopies. And you're like, I just made a penny. Because after all the overhead and all that stuff, and leases and all that stuff, I made a penny. What?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about that second part, right, which is so important as well, right? So different ways to celebrate.
And that's the thing. There's a range of ways that you can celebrate. I mean, it depends on the person, and it also depends on the level of the win. Because, you know, for the smaller wins, like, do you need to go, like, you know, go big? You know, not necessarily. You can just do something as simple as, you know, that community that you have, sharing it with your community and saying, hey, guys, guess what I did today? I signed my first client. And then you have some people that they're cheering you on and they're saying, that is awesome. And it gives you like a little bit of that validation, like, I can do this because someone trusted me enough to pay me to do this job for them. And so it's like, it gives you that validation that you need and then you're like, okay, if one person signed up, then you know what? I think I can get someone else. And so, and then, I mean, even something as, you know, we celebrate birthdays and holidays. And I'm like, why not, you know, celebrate even if you make it a year in business? That's your birthday. Yeah. Go get some cake and some balloons, you know?
And a lot of people don't really understand. Like, they're like, oh, I'm just going through the steps. But so many businesses don't even survive the first year.
Exactly.
And, you know, let alone 5. Yeah, if you can get to like 5 years, like you're pretty much got something established. And if you're making a profit, you're going to be okay. And then, of course, the next one's like 15 or 20, you know, like, because then it shows that you've had that staying ability. Yeah. So what other ways?
Yeah. That gives you like a reminder of just like of how far you've come. So it's like when you look 5 years from now and you look back and you're like, I remember day one when I started and I didn't think I would make $1. And and then it's like 5 years later, here I am, you know, with, you know, however many clients making whatever, you know, amount of money I want to make at this point. And then you're just like, wow, I really did it. And I've come a very long way.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people, like, they don't, you also have to think about all the little milestones that got you to that point of even opening.
Yep.
And, you know, when you open and letting people know that you opened, it is a celebration of you getting somewhere. For me, it was with the print shop. It was, we went in the night before and we got the location, and we literally bought 2x4s, some drywall, and made up some divider walls to divide like our rented space from the back and the front. And then we had gone to a secondhand place and got some countertops. And we didn't even know what color the countertops were going to be. Like, so we got them, and then we went and got the paint mixed, and then we painted the walls. You know, it was like, boom, 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 boom. Because the situation that I had was that one business closed, that our former manager and owner closed, And then he gave us all his clients, but we didn't have a location. So we had to go somewhere. And then we opened all this up, and we were like, we have a big empty space with a couple of photocopying machines. Yeah, no art, no nothing. It was very like, here's a counter, here's like literally like one wall and then 2 walls further set back. People didn't know where we were because we didn't have enough time to do that. But we got our word out and stuff like that. And it was before text messaging was like a big thing. All this wonderful stuff in marketing that I've learned over the years. But yeah, the celebration was a big one. It was we had enough money to go buy a cake and have a cake with the people that we were with. That was it. But it meant something to me. I still remember that day.
No, and then I mean, even if it's something as simple as go to a spa. Like, say you've never been, and you know what? Hey, I need to go get a massage or something today because it's stressful and you've been working hard, and it'll just be good to just relax, release some of that tension, but you also realize that you're celebrating. It's like, I did something good and I deserve this, because you do deserve it. And many people think they don't, but no, you actually do.
Yeah. So what other ways would you suggest people celebrate?
It could be, if you're going big, you could probably, if you say there's a place you always wanted to visit, travel to, you could say, okay, as I'm earning money, I'm going to take, X amount, and I'm going to put it in this little fund for my trip to, wherever, Hawaii or something, somewhere you always wanted to go. And so once you've hit that goal, it's like, okay, I need $2,000 and I'll be able to take this trip. That it's like, it kind of goes hand in hand. It's like, one, I've made enough money from my business to be able to afford to treat myself to this trip. And then you also get a nice little vacation.
And actually budget it. And actually budget it in so that it's coming.
Exactly.
And it gives you that reason to go forward. Don't sit back and go, oh, I just got 200 people, so what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually budget it into your actual accounting, then it's
exactly.
like, I'm almost there, and that money's sitting there, and when I get to it, I know I'm going to be able to do this.
And that could probably motivate you too, because it's like, I know I'm trying to reach this goal. So how am I going to reach that goal? Okay, I need to make more money. So I need to get out there and get some more clients. And it works. It works like all around for you. So you're continually building your business and earning some revenue, but then you're also going to have something really sweet waiting for you once you get there.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the big things that a lot of people also miss out is investing in yourself or investing in something for your future is more important than just buying a thing. And a lot of people, when they go into business, they're like, once I get to this point, I'm going to buy myself a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to buy something that's going to end up costing you money in the long run. So think about what you want to buy. Like, going out and having an adventure, having something that you can keep with you for a lifetime, like going on a vacation, great idea. Or taking that same money that you would put into buying a Cadillac and investing that into some other product or into some sort of like maybe not your own business, because you should have multiple different income revenues, and that's something that you'll probably be talking about later, is like setting up multiple different incomes, like investing in, I'm going to say Bitcoin here, but it's going up pretty fast, but you got to learn how to do trade and stuff like that. But it's something that you can then invest back into yourself, because that investment is going to start paying for you. So one of the celebration things that I would suggest is for people, if you have a good business and you're making good money, start investing into real estate. Rent it out. Rent it out, make it an Airbnb, like everybody's doing it, Why? Because if you have a nice place, you can start making some good money on it. Right.
And another really, really good investment that I think everybody should make is investing in your own personal mental health, just as a whole. Because one, like, you can't show up as your best self if you're not okay. So if, like, when you get the opportunity, because I know a lot of times, yes, it can be expensive to invest in like therapy or any type of, some type of mental health assistance that you may need. But it's like when you start getting a little bit of money, that's a great investment to make, because overall you're going to feel better, and it's going to help you be a better business owner and a better person in general, because you're working out all that stuff. So whatever's stressing you out, you can figure out, okay, these are the best ways for me to deal with my stress. So then as you're running your business, okay, this is a stressful situation. I can always go back to this tool that I've learned, and I have it in my back pocket. So now, rather than stressing out, you like, this is what I need to do. I need to go take some deep breaths before I come back to this. And yeah. I just think it's huge, because it's hard to try to run a business, and it's different than working for someone else in their business, because you have so much more on your plate and to have to worry about than just showing up and clocking in and clocking out.
Yeah. And one of the things, like, and this is going to relate to what we talked about last week, was like hiring somebody to come in.
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, if you can get to the point where even if you can hire someone temporarily for like a week or 2 weeks, like, stress.
Yes.
I mean, like, if you have a brick and mortar, I mean, you're going to be sweeping, cleaning the windows, doing all those things. Like, you're going to end up doing a lot of that stuff. And a lot of people don't think about that when they get there. And then they're like, oh my God, I don't have time to clean the store before people get in. And so, but all of a sudden, you hit your goal. You celebrate it. What do? I'm going to hire somebody to wash my windows. I hate doing it. And in Canada, in the middle of February, you got to wash your windows because, like, like, stuff gets on. You don't want to go outside with water. So, like, going out there and having people do that for you, that it's a great way to celebrate. Like, relieve some of that stress off of you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, coming back around to like what you were saying last week about, hiring someone, outsourcing a lot of stuff. It's a great way to celebrate. So I'm going to hop in here with a couple of my ideas of like what you should do when you want to celebrate. Right. And then you can comment on them, of course. So, like, one of the first things I always think about, and it's going to sound really silly, but whenever I think about, like, I just hit a win, I always think about this kid. Like, yes, I did it, and kicking over, and it's just one of those fun things. So one of the first things I really think about is, first you got to notice them,
acknowledge them,
notice that you got to win.
Yeah.
Right. And this is where those metrics come in, like, putting down goals, following your 90-day plan, is having those targets. Now, I don't like saying goals, because goal is a finite thing, but a target is something that you can reach, you can go past, you can go more, but as long as you get near it, like, you're gonna achieve something, right? And you take all the steps to get there. Notice them, and that's going to give you a lot of confidence.
Exactly.
Right. Put the smile on your face. Like, I came out the first month that we did $1,000 profit in the photocopying place, and I was walking around with a smile on my face, and people were like, wow, you're really happy today. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm doing happy. I'm good. Woohoo. Then they ask, and they're like, oh, really? But now we have all this social media out there. So take that opportunity as a marketing opportunity, and show that you've hit your success. Hey guys, it's been like 2 weeks. We've already made such and such we made this much profit this month already, and like, we're so happy about it that we're going to give everybody like 10% off their next purchase for for today, only today. You don't want to keep you'll lose money. You go through that. as I said, get excited. Show people that you're excited. Excitement is contagious.
It is. And when people see that too, it might get them excited. And then they're like, oh my goodness, you did that? You know what? I can probably I can do it too. And it encourages other people to get out there and continue to keep pushing forward, even when they don't feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one, like I was saying, like communicate those small wins to people, right? So like, especially for the people that may have been the naysayers. And we talked about this before, right? As an entrepreneur, you're not always going to be the person who, like, you have a vision, and not everybody's going to believe in that same vision. I get excited. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, so I'm always thinking. Somebody says something, and I'm like, "Wow, you can make money at that." Everything doesn't matter. Like, I get excited at that. Like, my wife, she's an amazing artist, and like, she can draw, she can paint, she can do this, and everything she does, I'm like, you can make so much money on that. She doesn't see it the same way I do, but sometimes she does, and but I get excited about it. So, communicating those small wins to everyone, those naysayers can then start saying, oh, you know what, maybe that person really does. Now don't go like like, do it in a positive way so that they can start changing their mind, because the people around you are going to be the people who are your strength. Even if they were naysayers at the beginning, they could become pillars of strength for later on.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
and I think that's also what kind of helps, because a lot of people, like, when they don't see the vision, and so they're just like, how are you going to do this, or how do you plan to make money doing that? And then when you come back and you can show proof, you're just like, hey, I did it, and this is how, and I was able to, I made it. I mean, I made this amount, whatever it is, just to come back and say, hey, I did do it. I have proof of concept. It's a real thing. It can happen. And that's when usually people are like, oh, okay. I see. I can kind of, I can kind of see it now. Even they probably still won't see the full vision, but they'll at least get a little bit more belief in what you're doing.
Exactly. And it just empowers you more, because that person has now switched. And when they say that to you, you're like, oh, don't be an ass. Just right. So the next one I had was establishing habits, which help you make those small wins every day. And that's one of the big things that we talk about and we give 110 is, having that checklist of things that you need to get done, those small little drives that will move you forward every day, and just checking them off, like, just got it. I mean, we don't try to preach to you to say, make a list of 20 or 30 things. But like you can, I don't know if you guys can see it here, but you can actually see there's like a little higher. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what I'm working on. Yeah. Those are the 4 things I'm working on.
Right.
You don't have to do 20 or 30 in a day.
Yeah.
4. Most people, 4 things is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about it. And most of the time, I don't even get those 4 things. I get like little ones added on. Every time Carrie tells me something, I'm like, oh. That's why there's so many here. It should be only 1, but I got like, that's another one at number 1. Okay. So then I have to move everything around. And, keeping track of those things, establishing habits, they're going to be wins. Be it health, be it family, be it, your business, coming in early 10 minutes before the store opens just to like wash the windows or check your till to make sure you have the right money in there. Because those small little habits will make the difference later on. Right? Because habits become routine, and then once you have routine, then you have stability and you have less stress.
Exactly.
Right? So the next one, I was going to say, I didn't write this one up, was live in the present moment and acknowledge it. I'm here. I win.
I made it another another day. I'm here today.
I'm ready another day. You know what? When you first start a business, and especially those people who are starting off with like brick and mortar build like companies,
Mm-hmm.
every day is a win.
Yeah.
You know, like until you've established that business core.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like as we were talking about earlier, like, you know, hitting 25, 30 days. Wow, we made it 1 month. Yay! You know, like one opening, you know, everybody gets a free ice cream, you know, like you know, doing silly things like that. It might seem so trivial, but it means a lot, not just to you, but to your customer base as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, setting up a little barbecue outside with some balloons and stuff and get your free hot dog, you know, like it costs you like maybe $40, but you know what? That also drives business back into you.
Exactly.
Right?
It does. Yes. Because it gets people excited. It gets other people excited because if they get excited about what you're doing, then they're going to come buy from you.
Yeah. And one of the things this was a quote that I had actually given in ClickFunnels today with Carrie's team and stuff like that, was the whole idea that your customers will not remember you for what you did, but how you made them feel.
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually go out there and you actually like do things for people,
exactly,
they're going to remember, oh, that's the place where I got a free hot dog.
Exactly. And they're going to go tell someone else. They're like, hey, go get your free hot dog from this awesome place.
Yeah, Sean Olson just said, he just reached out to us here. Sean Olson just said, yeah, live in the moment. Time doesn't exist, right? So if you were here yesterday, if you were watching the live broadcast yesterday, Sean was talking about living in the moment and time doesn't exist because it's right there, right? Mm-hmm. Enjoy what you're doing, and you know, well, you're gonna feel better from that choice, right? So, so once again, like if you guys want to learn about mindset and stuff like that, you know, come on Tuesdays, and you'll get to meet with Sean. And at some point, we're gonna have I think we're gonna try to have Sean and Misa on at the same time. It'll be a great time. All right. So if Sean, you're up for that, you know, just leave another comment, right? We're gonna try to have our expert panel day maybe, and have a whole bunch of people come in.
And then something to think about, like when you make people feel good, that makes them want to keep coming back to you. Because if you think about some of the most successful businesses, people come back because they make them feel good. I'm like, I love going to Chick-fil-A because they make me feel good.
Right, and then you have this. Yeah. Right? Like, yeah. and that's what I love. You know, like when when I transitioned from being a teacher and going back to doing tech support and customer service, one of the big things for me was when a customer, which I didn't get to see customers face to face. I was doing everything through email. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So I would provide them with videos and stuff like that and step by step. But I would have people reaching out to me going, that was so awesome. Thank you so much. You changed my life. You changed my family's life. And then I would be, yeah, you know, yes, you know, like in the background, right?
Exactly.
You know, and it makes it, Sean says he's down with meeting with everything, doing a panel. That's awesome, Sean. All right. But yeah, so I mean, this is some of the other things, right? So the next one, we already kind of touched on it. It was the reward yourself, right? So establishing a set of rewards is also a good idea. You know, like, and I said, you know, plan it and put in your time and put in like an amount into your budget for that reward. Now, I'm not saying like every Friday you go for a steak dinner. No,
right.
Like, right? It's more about setting a goal to which you can reach. Now, maybe going for a Friday night steak dinner every week on your business is fine, but I don't think you can continue to claim that. IRS or the Canadian Revenue Services might go, what?
Yeah, like, wait a minute. This seems kind of high.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. why is this always happening on a Friday? Celebrate Friday. That's great, but set some solid benchmarks or like
Yeah.
targets or like um, milestones that you need to reach, and then have your reward. Maybe, like you said, maybe first it's a trip to like a bed and breakfast for your first year. Then maybe after 2 years, it's a trip to Florida. And then maybe after 5 years, it's a trip to Hawaii, like you set those things up. You know how much it's going to cost.
Yep.
Prices will fluctuate, but you can always adjust a little bit and hit them, right?
Exactly.
If it's a small win, maybe you like hit 100 customers, maybe give that person, have a card ready, like, hey, you hit 100 customers and like, you're my 100th customer, and hand that person the card to say thank you to them. They're going to be like in shock. But you're going to be like, hey, this is awesome. I gave this card to this person. They're going to, they're going to selfie with you. Like, wow, but whenever you start setting those kind of milestones, there's the opposite, the pressure.
Yes.
Right? So don't let that pressure build on yourself. Don't let it pile up.
Yes.
It's a target. It will happen. If you're consistent and you keep moving, it will happen. Right?
And I think it helps to have a target, because when you do have something that you're looking forward to, usually you're more inclined to, work a little bit harder, because you're like, I'm trying to get there. And so the only way I'm going to get there is if I'm like, I need to, gain a couple of clients every month until I, reach the summer or whatever the case is. And then you're like, okay, I can do this. And then you're really going out there going hard, because, once I reach that goal, like, one, I've accomplished something, but then I'm like, I'm going to get something great in return for what I've done.
Yeah. And that's a really good thing to do. It just works. It just works all around, right? I want to explain more about it, but it's just like, if you have it, you set it, it all works. So one of the last ones is share and plan how you intend to achieve your large goals or a collective goal. Like, I've made $1 million. Like, a lot of people, that's the big number, right?
Yeah.
Now, 60 years ago, that was a huge number. Now, now $1 million is not necessarily a huge number, but it still carries a lot of weight.
Exactly.
So, plan how you intend to achieve it. Then plan how you're going to celebrate it.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So you just have to think about those things as we go on. And as you can hear, like, going through the comments from us, like, and what we're talking about, it's always about planning your targets, planning your rewards, setting up things so that it's an emotional thing for you.
Exactly.
Maybe buying the Cadillac is a good thing for you because that's what you've always wanted. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure all those Cadillac drivers out there, but investing in yourself and giving yourself that is, I think, in my personal experience, is better for you.
It is,
because if you have a second income coming in, that's you're not doing anything for, because you've already invested the money. You're going to be like, it's even less stress, and you can focus on your business more. You can take a little bit more of a risk. You don't have to worry too much about it. So, I mean, that's basically my whole big thing. My whole takeaway from what you were talking about is take your wins.
Yes.
Move forward. Set your goals and targets. I hate saying goals because it's finite. But set your targets as you go, or your milestones, if you like. Set the drives to move towards them and get there. Right.
Exactly.
Right. So I don't know. Do you have any other things that you want to talk about today, or anything you want to add to that? Because I know I ended up talking a lot there.
No, I mean those are really good points, because I'm like, out of everything that business owners have to deal with, this is a piece that is so important, because if you don't stop and celebrate, you can get overwhelmed, you can, stressed out, and then sometimes you can feel like you want to quit. But it's like when you see the steps that you're taking and you reach those targets, then it's like, okay, I can keep going. I don't need to give up. I don't need to give up. It's going to be okay. I'm going to reach it. And that's the biggest thing, is always just moving forward, because you don't want to give up just because it's like you don't feel like you're making progress, just because you're not really taking the time to see the progress that you're actually making.
Yeah. And yeah, once again, it's celebrating those small little wins and making sure that they're there. One of the biggest problems that I've experienced whenever I set up a business was the setbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And you start focusing on those setbacks, and you let all that stress build up on you.
Exactly.
And if you don't have a counterbalance to it,
mm-hmm.
It's weird. Like maybe you had the worst day of your business.
Yes.
You know what? You hit your 100th customer, 1,000th customer, 10,000th customer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it may have been your worst day, but you still hit a goal.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is like not focusing so much on the negative or downsides that come with the territory. Like, you want to see some of the positive that comes out of it too, because if you just stay focused on the negative all the time, you probably won't get very far, because you're going to want to give up.
Yeah. And and then turning around and tying it to bookkeeping, one of the big things is like making sure that you have your receipts and all your deposits and everything laid out nicely at the end of the day. Make it that habit, that routine, that you do that at the end of the day.
Yes.
Because maybe you had a stressful day and you're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then it'll get backed up on you, and that becomes a problem. And, I'm pretty sure that when you notice something, you share it with your clients. Like, oh my God, did you know that you just hit like such and such a benchmark?
Exactly. Exactly. Especially because and that's the thing too, if you're not paying attention to what's going on with your finances, like, how do you know if you're making progress? How do you know if you're growing? How do you know what you're even making? Like, these are very important things to know so that you can know if you can continue on with your business.
Exactly. And it's such an important thing to notice, because it is, unfortunately, it is the benchmark that most businesses have to focus on, is that financial aspect. Until you hit, 4 or 5 years down the line and you've established your business and you have a standard, or like a constant flow of customers and income coming in.
Exactly.
You're going to be so tied to that. So having the end of the day, see what you made, see how much more you made that day, or how much little less you made that day.
Yeah. Yes.
But keep that running total. I had days where I didn't make a penny, like, like nobody needed photocopies because it was raining and storming outside, or there was like, a foot of snow fell. I was there in the morning. I opened my doors. I was there for people, but I didn't make anything on it, but at the end of the day, I still went through all my small wins. I got, the windows washed, the floors cleaned, all those things, that were on that checklist of things to do. So yeah, celebrate your wins, go out there, make a list of all the little steps or milestones along your way. And you're going to find you're going to have a better and a better relationship with your business, I would think.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You'll probably enjoy it a little bit more, especially for those hard days where you're just like, you can remember, it's okay. You know what? I reached that target, so I'm good. I'm good.
Right. So we'll wrap it up here, right? So this is Misa. Misa's with Perfectly Kept Books. She's great with all your accounting needs that you might need. She'll help you with setting up all the stuff for getting your books ready for tax season, which it has been pushed back for the United States this year, right? What's the date for that?
Well, there's 2 days because they pushed back for most states. It's May 17th, I believe, and then Texas, I think they extended it even further for us. So I believe it's like June something. I forgot the date, but.
Well, that's awesome because it gives you guys the opportunity to reach out to Misa at perfectlykeptbooks.com or on Instagram and Facebook at perfectlykeptbooks. So if you need help to get your books in order, this gives her the time to help you. Right? And then that could be a goal that you can mark off and celebrate that you got your tax stuff already, and then you can take it and submit it from there. So thanks again, Misa, for being here. And, I want to thank everybody out there. So once again, if you haven't picked up our book, it's going to be available for a short period of time at wegive110.com. The Personal Success Journal, this one here. So following your steps, setting your goals and all that stuff that we were talking about today, set in your their celebrations as well. There's no reason why. Like, hey, I got to 90 days. Yay! Right? That's awesome, right? Because believe me, if you're starting off a business, the first 90 days are just insane. So once again, we give 110 and Perfectly Kept Books, and we're going to be back here next week with Misa at 6 Central Time. Oh no, 6 Central Time, or 7, and that, or 7 Eastern for all those people there, and then of course that's 8 a.m. It's Seoul time. So if you're on the other side, or if you're in Australia, so we do have some people from Australia. It's usually about 8 o'clock, guys. So with that, we're going to say goodbye. And any last words?
No, that's all for today.
All right. That's all for today. All right. So have a great day, everyone.